Today, we look at the top 5 worst draft picks for the Canucks since 2000. This list includes some names you've probably completely forgotten. I make this video knowing that Vancouver has seemed to change their draft fortune as of lately, but some of these picks are still worth noting. Coming in at number 5 is 2007 25th overall pick Patrick White. White was a center drafted out of the USHL after putting up 8 goals in 12 games. He was also a highly regarded player coming out of high school. White's career went downhill once he started playing college hockey for the University of Minnesota. He only put up 53 points in 4 seasons for the Gophers and never ended up signing with an NHL team.
It's a beautiful jersey, so I'd, hopefully someday, maybe have one on my back.
White was drafted 1 pick ahead of David Perron. Another notable player drafted after him is PK Subban. After stints in Germany, Russia, and Sweden, White played his final professional hockey game in France at the age of 27. The only reason White is number 5 on this board is because the Canucks managed to fleece the San Jose Sharks.
The Sharks executed a trade with the Vancouver Canucks today, sending Christian Ehrhoff and Brad Lukowich to Vancouver in exchange for 2 outstanding prospects. The number 1 draft pick of the Canucks from 2007, center Patrick White, who's
at the time, the Sharks thought they were simply dumping cap space in a move for 2 outstanding prospects. Little did they know Ehrhoff would become a pivotal part of the Canucks team. Ehrhoff quarterbacked the power play that was ranked first in the league and helped beat the Sharks in the Western Conference Finals. Coming in at number 4 from the 2000 NHL draft is 23rd overall pick Nathan Smith. Now, that is a name you've probably never really heard of. Smith was drafted out of the AHL playing for the Swift Current Broncos. In his draft plus 1 season, Smith put up 90 points in 67 games but could never quite find his footing in the NHL. He lasted 4 seasons in the Canucks organization, only playing 4 games for the big club. Smith's tenure was plagued by injuries, topped off by a near career-ending knee injury while he's playing for the Canucks affiliate team. Players drafted after Smith in the first round include Nicholas Kronwall, Brad Boyes, and Mr. Game 7 himself. Smith eventually signed with the Pittsburgh Penguins in 2007. He ended up playing 26 career games in the NHL, totaling to a whopping 0 points. His only ever goal was eventually waved off. At number 3, I have 2016 5th overall pick Olli Juolevi. Now, this might be a controversial pick, and I still have some hope for Olli, but so far, this selection has been a disaster. The Canucks had an opportunity to draft Matthew Tkachuk, who went with the next selection to the Flames of all teams, or even better defenders like Charlie McAvoy and Mikhail Sergachev. Juolevi has been hampered by continuous injuries and has seemed to have lost a step when it comes to his skating ability. He was drafted to be a low-risk player for the Canucks. Scouts touted him as one of the top defensemen in the class when it comes to hockey IQ and thought he would be a for sure lock as a top 4 pairing guy. Juolevi is still only 21 but has quickly fallen far behind on the depth chart. He is still producing at a solid rate for a young guy in the AHL, putting up 35 points in 57 games so far. Hopefully, Olli turns it around and finds his way to the NHL. But unfortunately for him, Canucks Nation is not forgiving and time is not on his side. Number 2 on this list belongs to 2009 22nd overall pick Jordan Schroeder. Bob McKenzie is a legend in hockey, but he messed up predicting this guy.
This is a steal getting Jordan Schroeder here.
Schroeder was drafted after putting up 45 points in 35 games for the University of Minnesota, and people thought he was going to be a steal. Schroeder was named Western College Hockey Freshman of the Year over a player like Derek Stepan, and even helped lead Team USA to a gold medal in the World Juniors. Scouts liked Schroeder for his elite hockey sense and his leadership abilities. He was even being compared to Zach Parise. Turns out Schroeder only played 56 games for the Canucks in 5 years, putting up a grand total of 15 points. Schroeder was drafted ahead of Ryan O'Reilly, Kyle Palmieri, Marcus Johansson. After playing for the Wilds organization, Columbus's, and Chicago's, he put his NHL dreams on halt in order to join the Torpedo of the KHL, where he is currently their leading scorer. Before we get to my first overall pick, I want to include some honorable mentions. Hunter Shinkaruk was drafted 24th overall in the 2013 draft. He is at 1 point compared to the likes of Patrick Kane. Canucks fans thought they were getting a steal with this pick before it turned out to be a bust. Benning eventually traded Shinkaruk to Calgary Flames for Marcus Granlund. At the time, Shinkaruk was still quite young, and this trade triggered the entire fan base. Turned out to be a lose-lose for both teams, with a slight edge with the Canucks, who managed to get a 19-goal season out of Granlund. Nicholas Jensen was drafted 29th overall in the 2011 draft. He was drafted ahead of Brandon Saad, Ricard Raquel, and Nikita Kucherov. Jensen only played 19 games for the Canucks, totaling 6 points. He was later traded to the New York Rangers for another draft bust in Emerson Edom. Jensen has seemed to find a new home in the KHL for the Joker at Helsinki, where he's putting up solid numbers. Brendan Gaunce was taken 26th overall in the 2012 draft. This draft is one of the weakest in recent history, so you can't really fault the Canucks that much. Gaunce lasted 8 seasons in the organization, playing in 117 games, tallying only 6 goals and 15 points for Vancouver. Gaunce is currently playing for the Providence Bruins of the AHL. Jared McCann was taken 24th overall in the 2014 draft. McCann is definitely not a draft bust, considering he has found new life with the Penguins, but who they traded for him and who was picked right after him is what hurts. In 2016, the Canucks gave up on McCann, shipping him and a second-round pick for Erik Goodbranson. The Canucks reportedly were interested in drafting Alex DeBrincat, who ended up going 1 pick after where they would have picked if they didn't trade for Goodbranson. Oh, and by the way, the player drafted after McCann was none other than David Pastrnak. This whole situation is one of the biggest what-ifs in Canucks history, in my opinion. Lastly, with the 6th overall pick in the 2014 draft, the Canucks selected Jake Virtanen. This pick was looking like a huge bust at first, but Jake has slowly seemed to find his way in the NHL, and is currently on pace for a 20-goal, 40-point season. Now, it's still a disappointing pick considering players like William Nylander and Nikolai Ehlers were available, but Jake is a viable option for this team and is a fan favorite. The whole 2014 draft was a bit of a mess for the Canucks. Now, the biggest draft bust for Vancouver in recent years is 2008 10th overall pick Cody Hodgson. Now, listen to me for a second. Hodgson, without a doubt, was a solid NHL player, but the hype surrounding him was enormous for Canucks Nation. He was supposed to be the next big thing for the Canucks, and he simply never got there, and then he asked to be traded. Hodgson was a leading scorer in the 2009 World Juniors. He had more points for Team Canada than players like John Tavares and Jordan Eberle. You can understand why he had so many expectations for him. On February 12, 2012, Mike Gillis dropped a bombshell of a trade moving Hodgson to the Sabres for Zach Kassian. Looking back now, this is a minor trade, but at the time this was shocking for fans of Vancouver. Everybody loved Hodgson and wanted him to succeed so badly with the team. Hodgson struggled to stay healthy with the Sabres, but showed flashes of what he showed he could be. He was forced to retire at the young age of 26 due to a genetic disease. It feels bad to see what could have happened with Hodgson. Vancouver has undoubtedly had one of the worst draft records, but ever since Judd Brackett has took over as director of amateur scouting, things have seemed to change. Aquilini, you better extend him. Thanks for watching my video. Any feedback is welcome. Please leave a comment, like, and subscribe for more content like this. Thanks once again, and have a great day.